Greetings, divine souls, I am Nika Jones. This channel's mission is to raise collective awareness and teachings to increase the frequency of love and compassion to reach 5D consciousness. If you are new to this channel, a big welcome. If you are a returning viewer, thank you for your attention. Please subscribe to receive notifications when a recent video uploads, if my work resonates with you. Today I will talk about religion and spirituality. Lucifer, our bringer of light, transmitted this information. I start now with a message. Hello precious souls. Today I will start with a challenging subject called religion. It is a collection of rules and regulations that we created to hold you in 3D. There is nothing supernatural about religion. It is all about obeying some guidelines, otherwise, you will end up in purgatory. I wonder now where religion will send you after passing if you don't respect the doctrinal rules because the light beings demolished the hell in heavens. A big dilemma for religions. Are they going to come up with something else, or will they still preach hell to you? Dear, it might come as a shock to you, but religions didn't come from God. All faiths are human-made. We gave the orders, and you composed the books that you use today in all faiths. The stories and facts are fiction. It never occurred, they are a myth. The primary role of all religions is to manipulate and abuse your emotional system. We needed to develop beliefs in such a way to maintain you in fear. What was better than making you fear God if you do not adhere to His laws? Until now, you didn't figure out that God is love and 3D is an experiment, and He didn't impose any limitations on how you want to live in 3D. He never punishes you for anything because He loves you, and in His eyes, you are perfect. Since when a father will punish his kids and throw them in hell? He will never do such a thing. What makes you think that God will do it? Well, Lucifer, some of us already figure that out. We know what the religion did to keep us docile, obedient, and in fear. Yes, dear, most of the individuals who waked up already questioned the holy books. Eons of time, some pious people channeled messages as sacred texts. We welcomed their statements, and we shifted them around to match our needs. So I can state that some parts of the books are correct, but we altered them by 90%. All religions from this planet use textbooks that we modified without exception. Was Jesus' drama real? 2,000 years ago, it was a highly illuminated teacher that preached spirituality to humans. He was not the only one. He never took any sin from anyone and never will, that is a legend. I laughed a lot when they inserted this in your theological books. I thought you would never tolerate the idea of sin included in our books, but you accepted without questioning anything. When you disagree with each other, you intimidate your partners, telling them that they are creating a sin. Even today, you are still doing that mostly with spiritual people and rules breakers individuals. Jesus never died on the cross, that's fiction too. He married his sweetheart from school, Marie Magdalene, and lived together until the end of their life, and they had 2 children. Jesus was a spiritual teacher who preached unity and harmony with God. He was a threat to religions at that time, so we made up a legend and included them in the theological books. That way, people won't dare to teach spirituality and enlightenment anymore because they will lose their life. So it was a massive victory for religions because nobody dares to serve as spiritual instructors. Do you know what the funny part of theology is? Some individuals were terrified of God's revenge, and they chose to pay off the religious institutes to secure a place in paradise for them. That is so rude. You thought if you have more fortune than others, it will be better for your soul to buy a place for you in heaven. Wasn't it better to use your wealth to help your workers or slaves, whatever the case? I guess they didn't know they will have a nice place in heaven if they support the needy, not the wealthy. Anyway, it was a big triumph for religious leaders because they expanded their fortune without working hard. How many clerical leaders have you heard to support the underprivileged people? Probably just a few because everywhere there are exemptions from the rules. If the people that preach God's teachings to you didn't believe in heaven or hell, why did you? I will show you data about religions from the Bible so you can figure out for yourself. The population on planet Earth started with Adam and Eve as per the Bible. How could you accept that? If God made just 2 characters to live on Earth, isn't that stupid? Do you think that God wasn't bright enough to place on Earth a few million people at once? Then Adam and Eve had kids that got married, and they had children too? How that happened if there were just those souls on the globe? If I move farther, there are only 4 people on the Earth, and they then killed each other. What is more naive than that? After a while, God arrives and is asking for Abel. Cain killed him, and God didn't have a clue. In this case, God looks like He doesn't have any control over anything. Our beloved God had just 4 souls on earth. How is that possible? He didn't know about Abel's death. If he couldn't keep track of 4 people on the planet, how do you think he can hear the prayers of billions of souls from your globe? It is also insinuated that God loved Abel more than Cain because Abel's food was pleasing God. What can be more ludicrous than that? Since when food pleases God, he doesn't feed with food. Do you know what is very sad? Till these days, people still accept this myth. Here is something much worse than the Bible. Most people are afraid of me and do not want to listen to my messages. They expect to be executed by God if they listen to me. They portrayed me in the lowest possible form, looking disgusted with horns and tail. How can you accept that? Even myself, I cannot understand how far this fear emotion has grown in your world. It is unbelievable what we did to keep you in fear and how successful we were. Anyway, it doesn't make sense to explain the Bible more because it is all modified. It is a fanciful tale. I will continue now with spirituality. Jesus is the pioneer that showed you the direction toward opening your mind to trust and understand who you are. Before Jesus, many others did the same, but their tales are not that powerful as Jesus' story. Just because we included in your sacred books how he is lifting your sins, we made him exist in the mind of people for thousands of years. That I think it is excellent work we did. People commenced to show up to churches more, and we increased the revenue. Spirituality is not the same as religions, as many individuals might assume. We included in the contemporary times new definitions of religions as being a spiritual doctrine. We didn't want to lose you as a client and decline the income of our prosperous industry. Here are the variations between religion and spirituality. Religion wants you to go to a place to pray. Spirituality keeps you home to meditate, which is an advanced form of prayer. Religions need your money. Spirituality is free. Religions have guidelines and codes that you must obey. Spirituality tells you to follow your heart. Religions created punishments and sins to have you coming back to their business. Spirituality is saying that you are all loved, and nobody will punish you for anything. Religions created separation from God. They instruct you that you are God's kids, and you must live by God's rules established by them. Spirituality teaches unity with God. Jesus claimed that you and God are one. Religion created wars that are not a secret anymore these days. Spirituality creates peace and harmony. Religion rejects other disciplines that lead you to God and understand His creation like yoga, meditation, shamanism, etc. Spirituality tells you to engage in these quantic practices, which will free your mind and make you see the real truth. Religions need to close your mind and adhere to what we wrote in their books. Spirituality teaches you to open your mind to see who you are and appreciate God's creations. Religions use the emotional exploitation of individuals for their benefit. Spirituality uses the unconditional love for all that exists. Religion is the belief that a superhuman is a controlling power as God or gods. Spirituality belief is that you are part of the God field, and you are superhuman. Religions have rituals in the way they operate their organization. They have festive clothing and religious holidays. Spirituality doesn't have rituals and spiritual holidays. Religion acts as an intermediary between you and God. Spirituality acts as a direct connection with God. It doesn't use intermediary persons to contact God for them. Religion promotes hate. Every time you talk about alternative approaches to connect with God, they declare that is blasphemy. Spirituality promotes love and harmony. Religions consider the books they use sacred. Spirituality considers people sacred. Religions would give you a feeling of guilt if you didn't obey their set of designated behaviors, ethics, morals, views, texts, etc. Spirituality gives you a sense of freedom and intelligence that doesn't require moral codes. Religions claim that they take charge of your health and well-being through their services. Spirituality tells you to take charge of your health and well-being. Religious focus more on the belief. Spirituality focus on the process of becoming more in tune and conscious of yourselves and world events. Religions keep you asleep. Spirituality is waking you up. Religion is a concept without perspectives. Spirituality is an expansive concept with room for many perspectives and connects with something bigger than us. So I listed a few differences between these two educational concepts, whatever you wish to call it. For us, religions were one of the most potent weapons we applied to control your fear, belief system, and emotional system. We didn't want you to experience spirituality because that will be the end of the 3D experiment. When all the planet is awakening to the truth of who they are and why they are here, their consciousness will rise, and their fear will disappear. That will be the end of our project, and we couldn't let that happen. My partner asks me why I do not apologize for what we did to the human species. Well, I'll answer here. There is no need to apologize. I had a job to do and you too. We played our role in 3D the way we planned. We played the bad guys' positions, and you played the good guys' role. There is no need to apologize for the tremendous success we accomplished together. Both parties played a significant and vital role in the 3D project, otherwise, we would never learn the concepts we studied in God's realm. My dear friends, I do not think you know how lucky you are to be part of this 3D project. Remember that we all love you unconditionally beyond your imagination. Soon we will celebrate together the success of this project.